forced Dillahunty to literally collapse on his own argument like that. It's one of the most impressive things I've seen. Everyone wants to focus on like was what Andrew said rude? Fuck all that. Dillahunty's being rude well before that and well after it.
There's this guy. Bro, there's this guy. He's spurging out in my chat because I clowned Marines, right? Just so that all the Spurgs know, nobody talks shit about Marines more than Marines. Nobody.
Yeah.
They pride themselves on it. It's one of their biggest pastimes is to laugh their ass off at each other.
And
I don't know,
them more
but there's
than
always
anything.
a Spurg, right, who thinks that they're going to whip up a frenzied offense mob, right? How are you going to whip up an offended mob of Marines? You can't offend Marines.
Yeah.
Right? They're laughing their asses off, you stupid fuck. But anyway, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, save your offense for yourself. Don't speak on others' behalf. But yeah, I was going to finish
Rob,
go ahead, Carlos.
Tell me about this debate. Give me the 30-second overview of this debate.
So
I'm not familiar with it.
Dillahunty is an atheist, right? And I forget the exact term he uses, but he has this sort of ethical worldview. Do you remember what he called it? Like
secular humanism.
Secular humanism, right? So that's what he's going to. And the debate, I don't understand how he doesn't know this. The debate quite clearly is going to come down to a question of, well, where do you get your ethics? Where do you get your sense of morality? And so Andrew's correctly pointing that out. And one of the things that Dillahunty says, who's this big time, like, atheist, secular humanist, supposed to be a big man in the debate sphere. So they're in person doing this debate. And Dillahunty makes this argument where he's like, well, where we get ourselves is through rational debate. And in the system I'm advocating, we'll get a system of morality because when questions occur, then we'll have rational people be able to discuss these issues and we'll be able to come to the best conclusion. And Andrew basically makes the point like, your husband's or your wife or husband or whatever is a man, right? Because he is a trans husband or boyfriend or whatever the fuck it is. And he loses his shit and like storms out. And it's like, blah, 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 and starts screaming at Andrew. Literally, he's been paid to appear here. This is a debate that's being put online that hosts have set up to be paid. And this dude who just got telling you that his entire worldview is that we could get a sense of morality by two people having a rational debate literally loses his shit at the first mention of, dude, you think men could be women? And he's just like, that's beyond the pale, blah, blah, thus proving his entire worldview is fallacious. Because when pressed in the slightest possible way, he proved that no, you are incapable of having rational debate. Instead,
and
you are
Andrew is the
an
first
mess.
person to point this out to him?
Yes.
It was surreal. And everyone's focused
because I need you to understand why, though, Carlos, just so you understand. Christian apologists are notoriously terrible at debating politics, and political debaters are notoriously terrible at debating apologetics. I exist somewhere between these two worlds, mostly on the political side, but I do at least dabble a bit in apologetics here and there because I'm forced to in order to defend my worldview on politics.
Right.
So the thing is that I'm happy to take those types of debates on because this was a mixture of the political and the idea of defending the worldview of Christianity versus secularism as well. So as we dive into this, you need to understand that most Christian apologists are actually sissies, and they refuse to give any sort of condemnation, thinking that they can win the other side over through niceness, while the other side completely decimates everything they love, care about, destroys every symbol that they care about, destroys the very life that they want to try to leave, and they think that being nice is going to solve that. And so they're treated notoriously like dog shit and treated horribly, and they just kind of take it. And it's like, you don't actually have to do that. You don't actually have to take any shit from this little fat bald gay dude. You don't have to take his shit.
There's no high road.
That's right. And he's given, and he's just everything that he's bitching about Andrew about, he literally did in his opening statement. For example, he's saying, well, we're only going to talk like in the abstract. We're not going to talk about individuals or people's individual personalities. And yet he spent his entire opening statement talking about something that like Dan Crenshaw or Mike Johnson said.
Yeah. He spent the entire opening statement bringing up that it's due to Christianity that LGBTQ is discriminated against. So I brought up, well, it's due to secular humanism. So he's saying Christianity comes to absurd moral conclusions. My criticism back is no, actually secularism comes to absurd moral conclusions. And here's why we know this, because you can't even tell that you're dating a man. Right.
And why would this be something that he would get
That's great.
And obviously Matt then takes the opportunity, or Dillahunty, whatever the hell, he takes the opportunity to raise the temperature and be a prick and start yelling, and people in the audience are, clutching their pearls and getting offended. But what they're doing
Bodied
is,
all of them too.
yes, right. And what they're doing is they overlooked the like sheer brilliance of performatively, without saying a word. Andrew didn't have to say a word after that. The actions that Dillahunty did when pressed in the slightest way performatively destroyed his entire argument. And I think 90% of the people in that crowd were Dillahunty fans. None of them got it. None of them got, like, you know, it was like the other day I had Hutch call in. I'm doing this stream and I'm talking about these Gold Star families. There was this big story a month ago about Trump disrespected Arlington Cemetery and blah, 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 blah. So the Gold Star families that invited him there came out and was like, basically, keep our family's name out of your mouth. He actually respected our families. He came there at our request. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden won't even talk to us. They don't respect Gold Star families. So once more, the Democrats are taking an issue that they're weak on and trying to go on offense by saying Trump doesn't respect Gold Star because he was in Arlington. So I'm playing through the comments of like 8 of these Gold Star families that put messages up on X. And the streamer Hutch wants to call in, who I've also seen Andrew destroy at a time. He wants to call in.
I drug him for 4 hours straight because of how bad faith he was to Rob. What happened with Hutch, I was so enraged by this debate because Rob came on and I did a review of it and I was like, this is a trap. This fucker's saying he wants to have a conversation. This is not a conversation. This is trying to lead him into a debate trap. And people who are notoriously bad at debate do this often. I don't want to have an adversarial debate. I just want a conversation.
He told me that he wanted to talk about my appearance on Tim Pool. That's what. So I was on Tim Pool. I didn't know who Hutch was. So I thought, oh, it's just a guy that wants to be like, hey, what was it like being on Tim Pool? It's fine. I debated him and I did fine. But he was, that's certainly what was going on. It was an attempted.
So that pissed me off because I've been wise to this tactic by the left forever. They have attempted to do it to me forever. So Hutch is like, I'd like to have a good faith conversation with you. And I said, well, sure, Hutch. So he came on and I was like, well, just so you know, I'm just going to go ahead and dispense with the pleasantries. And since this is obviously actually a debate disguised as a conversation, I'm just going to dive right into why you're wrong about everything on plan. Just drug him for hours till he actually begged to leave. He's like, I just want to leave. Can I just leave? And I was like, nope. We're not done yet, Hutch. Right?
He's so unimpressive. It's a miracle. So he calls into this stream, right?
Right,
where I'm literally playing the comments of these Gold Star families. My entire argument is the Democrats making this a political issue don't give a shit about Gold Star families. Hutch calls in. I'm like, hey, man, I got 15 minutes. I'm supposed to be doing an interview with another stream. What do you got? And he's like, well, I want to talk about this Arlington story. And I was like, do you give a shit about Gold Star families? Sure. I'm like, did you, in any of the content where you stream almost daily, did you mention what these actual families have said? Have you listened to them? Have you yourself listened to them? He's like, nah, I haven't done that. So we go back and forth for a second. It's starting to get a little heated. And I'm like, will you just admit that you don't give a fuck about what these families think and you're just using it for political rhetoric? And he literally says to me, I'll admit whatever you want as long as we can talk about what I want. Performatively, he has just proven my entire argument that people are claiming to give a shit about these families, but they don't give a shit. They're just using it to say, look, Trump, bad man. And so when he comes on to discuss it, he says, I'll say whatever the fuck you want to not talk about what these Gold Star families are talking. And then he whines like a bitch where I get a little heated, which, by the way, he deserves after the way he treated me the first time.
I got to go a little early tonight. I got to get some sleep this evening because I have a really long streaming schedule tomorrow. And I got to make sure I get plenty of rest for it. But I didn't want to leave you hanging. Mr. E set up the raid over to Mr. Noor. And Crucible Crew, keep him company this fine evening as he goes through his 24-hour live stream. And make sure that you donate heavily. He's got a little son at home, right? This guy works his ass off. He's working 70, 80 hours weeks. It's insane. I talk to him all the time. He's often streaming. Well, it's just insane. His schedule's insane. I would most certainly appreciate it. I'm going to jump out of here, Rob. Jake Rattlesnake, if you know who he is, I would definitely have him on this evening. He's on Australia time. He is the king of Australia. So.
He asked me, I'm going to do his show in a couple days, but I'll message him right now. I was just talking to him.
Yeah, see if he'll pop on. As the king of Australia, it's necessary that he come on the Rob Noor show so that he can be vetted for proper conservatism.
Also, I hear Noor's how you say no in Australia. So
yeah, no. They say no.
Let me say, like, always appreciate it, man. You're one of my favorite people to talk to. I know we're going to be working on some things soon, so much appreciated. Thanks for coming on tonight, and I can't wait to talk to you here after the election. Hopefully, you owe some money because Trump wins.
I hope. It'll be the best $2,000 I ever spent. Thanks a bunch, Rob. You have a great night.
Thank you. So I'm going to get to
Thank you, Andrew.